What's good, guys? Today we're going to talk about my PUBG Xbox sensitivity settings, and for those of you on the PS4, my Xbox One X and PS4 settings are practically identical, so this video will also work out for you. To start it off, guys, my settings are something to work off of, so that way you could adjust yours and make it fit perfectly for your gameplay and aiming preferences. I'll post my settings in the comment section below and pin it for you guys, so that way it's easier for you to look at. And for those of you that don't want to finish watching the video, but for those of you that want to finish watching the video, I'm going to give you a heads up on what every sensitivity setting means and what it's used for, so that way you guys can understand it and adjust it however you would like. So to start off, I use Type B. Type B is when you hold down the left trigger to aim down your sights. If you are on Type A, you have to click the left trigger to aim down your sight. If you use Type A, it's easier to hold your breath because that way you could just use the same finger and hold your breath. But when you're in a close range gun battle, Type B is the way to go because you just hold down your left trigger, aim down your sight, and take out your target. It makes it much easier in close range battles, and it makes it easier to play just like any old first person shooter like Call of Duty. Next up is the right stick dead zone. So guys, the higher the number is here, the more pressure you'd have to put on your thumbstick to get your aimer going. And the lower the number means the slighter stick movements would make your thumbstick swing in a direction very quickly. I have mine at 15. This way when I'm using my AR rifle, I'm not overshooting an enemy, but also when I'm aiming down my scope with a sniper rifle, I could use those slight, slow movements to easily get locked up on their head and take them out. Left stick dead zone is pretty similar to right stick, but it's your character movement. So this is to get out of dodge from people shooting at you, moving left and right as you're shooting, or just running around the area in general. I recommend to put this as low as possible. Mine's at 2. That way you don't have to push it super hard on the left thumbstick just to get your character moving. Forward running sensitivity is a tricky one. So the higher number here, the easier it is to run forward. But this also makes an adjustment to parachuting. If you have this at a higher number, you could parachute a little bit farther than if you did it with it at a lower number. At a lower number in your parachuting, you push your thumbstick all the way forward, you're going to go at full speed ahead. But if you have this forward running sensitivity at a higher number and you push your thumbstick forward, you're not going to go as fast as you would be going if you had this all the way down. I'm not sure if this is a bug or not. I've had a few people tell me about this, and for those of you that would like to check it out yourself, feel free if you're interested in figuring out the difference it makes with parachuting if you want to make a deeper dive. My movement sensitivity is at 100. When this is at a higher value, this will cause the character to run rather than walk at lower stick inputs. So what it means is if you have this at a higher number, your character will begin to run at a much quicker pace than it would be at a lower number. If you have this at a lower number, you'd have to push your thumbstick pretty far just to get your character running or start moving quicker. But if you like to sneak around more and make less footstep noise, then I recommend to keep this at a lower number. That way you could creep around and not be heard as much as you would as if this was at a higher value. Vertical sensitivity multiplier is your up and down sensitivity. So not the left and right, this is just up and down. So the higher it is, the faster your vertical sensitivity would be compared to your horizontal. At a lower number, your vertical sensitivity would be slower than your horizontal. If you had it right at 100, it would be even in all directions. So for those of you that have trouble controlling your recoil vertically, I recommend to put this down a little bit. That way you can control it a little bit better. But you have to remember, muscle memory wise, that your vertical sense would be slower at that rate. Or vice versa, if you wanted to speed it up, control your vertical sensitivity at a higher speed. Keep that muscle memory in mind that it's going to be faster looking up and down. So do what you guys wish, but mine is at exactly 100. That way when I'm using a sniper or a scope, my up and down would be the same as my left and right. General sensitivity is at 13. Now guys, keep in mind this is for lobbing grenades, throwing grenades, looking around left and right, looking inside doors and buildings, looking for loot. This is general sensitivity. So if you hear footsteps directly behind you and you want to whip around quick, put your general sensitivity up. If you can't really control it fast enough, keep it at a lower speed so that way you can control it, still aim down your sight, and take out the enemy. Mine is at 13, which feels a little fast, but once I got used to it, it was easy to control. And that way I could still look left and right and flick to my enemy as long as they don't take me out too quickly. Vehicle driver sense is just your driver sensitivity when you're driving. So looking left and right as you're driving, using the free look camera to look around. Mine's at 13. Aim acceleration is on and at 4. Now that there's no map selection, I don't play as Sanok as much. So with all the maps and more vehicles driving around, I like to have this on. That way if a vehicle does drive by, I can easily track them and follow them and take shots if need be. Over the shoulder aiming is at 15. I like mine pretty quick. That way if a person is running left and right from one object to another, I can easily follow them but still be able to see them as well. That's one good thing about over the shoulder aiming, is you could really see the opponent. Especially when they try to swing around rocks. If they try to swing wide, I could easily follow them. But also a lot of people tend to do a maneuver where they stop in the middle of their run and start shooting at you, which is why I had this at 15, because I could easily stop, track back to them, and take shots, and hopefully take them out in the nick of time. My 1x optics I have at 9 now. I feel like 9 is very comfortable for me because when I land hot in tight places, at 9, I could still follow the enemies fairly well at close distances, but then I could also control my recoil at far distances if need be when taking shots at an opponent. And 1x include red dot, hollow, and your iron sights. 2x optics is a 2x scope. I have it at 8. I'm not a big fan of the 2x, but many people like to use it because they can control far distance and close distance shots. Me myself prefer using the 1x. The 3x optics I have at 9. I really like to use this with the G36, really low recoil type weapons, because that way I could use them for distance shooting. Especially if I hit somebody with like a K9 shot, I could pull that out and tap them up with the 3x. And then also if I'm in a close range battle, the 3x doesn't zoom in too crazy, like where you could still see your opponent and possibly take them out with a little recoil control. 4x I have at 5, not too slow but not too fast, just enough where same thing as the 3x, where if I hit somebody with a K9, I could pull it out, take some shots at them. Or if I want to do a 4x spray, 5 makes it easy to control the recoil. 6x I have at 4, a little bit slower than the 4x scope. That way, if I have a small head peeking at me, I'm able to control my 6x, lock onto the target, and take them out. 8x about the same description as the 6x. My 8x scope is at a 3. I like to have it slow because it aims at a farther distance and you have smaller targets, so that way if somebody's far away, it's slow and controlled and I can easily hit that headshot. But that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully it helped out all of you. If you have any questions, please hit the comment section below. Let me know if my sensitivity settings helped you out at all, and if they did, please give this video a like. I'm shooting for 50 likes on this video. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell for a little ring-a-ding-ding to get notified when the next video of mine goes live. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Get him, Clef. Get him before he gets in the car. Ah! Ah!